Hey y'all, here for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood season 3 episode 11. So let's get into it. It's Ray with his dad and they're doing a tux fitting and he's discussing the whole situation with Princess. He doesn't want to discuss it with his mom because his mom will be happy that they're having issues. So he feels like his dad is the only level-headed person he could talk to. And he's like, nothing is the same, She's not happy. I feel like we're drifting apart and, I just want to make sure, I just want to know what is it that I'm doing wrong. So his dad is like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just stuff like this happens. It's like everything is overwhelming. You're planning a way and you're trying to get everything straight, get you straight, and get her straight. I believe in y'all. It's just wedding problems. All y'all need to do is just work together, plan together, and don't forget to love. This is just one of many problems that you're going to have in your marriage. So how you deal with this is how it'll determine how you'll deal with everything else. So he's like, you know what? I think I'll take Dad's advice, because Dad is the one. He's been doing this for years, and, he's a pro at this. So now we get to Lyrica and Pam, and Lyrica felt bad for the argument that her and Pam had last time they were together. So she's like, she wants to build a relationship with Pam. She apologizes for saying what she says. And Pam is like, you know what? I love you. I don't have a problem with you. I just don't like how your mom treats you. It seems like she tries to run your life or whatever. And I don't, it breaks my heart for you because you don't deserve that. And, she's like, listen, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, we're supposed to be a family. And she's like, my mom agreed to give us the car back. And I would love for you to ride with me to trade the cars. And then maybe you guys can talk. And she's like, I'll definitely do that. And, Lyrica's like, I just hope it'll help you guys bond. And she's like, yeah, I'm all for it. I just want to turn over a new leaf. So on this scene, Miss Hazel is back, and I gotta say, I missed Hazel. I loved Hazel. On the first two seasons of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, I loved Hazel. But Hazel just had so much beef going on this show. That's why she left. So they're catching up or whatever, and Hazel is saying that she's worried about Tierra with her case and the whole Uber driver thing. So Tierra's just like, you know what? I'm not even going to stress this whole situation with this trial. I'm going to just trust that my attorneys take care of everything, and I'm going to leave it in God's hands. So then she was like, they started bringing up the whole, because we all know Hazel and Masika had beef since season 1 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And they're discussing, like, more fuel to the fire added because Hazel said that she made a song with Fetty Wap. And Masika tried to call her out like, yo, that's not Fetty Wap on your record. And she's like, well, that ain't Fetty's baby that you got. We need Maury. So she's like, I'm just tired of Hazel. I'm just tired of Masika. I ain't even, I wasn't even thinking about her until she, wrote me on Twitter. So I had to, clap back at her and tell her, listen, just because Fetty was around doesn't mean he was the only one. Meaning that could be anybody's baby. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Petty, petty, petty. So they just agreed that they're going to go out, have a night on the town, hang out, kick it like old times. So now we get to Princess and Brandy. And they're doing the bridesmaid fitting. So Brandy is defending Miss Sonia and whatnot to Princess, basically saying, I know Ray J's mom loves you unconditionally or whatever. She's like, yeah, but she doesn't even want us to get married. And it's like, you think I'm marrying him, and if I leave him, I'm gonna take stuff from him. No, I have my own brand and my own stuff to worry about. Now I'm thinking I should get a prenup for myself. I should protect myself, because when we broke up the first time, he bought the rights to my name. So Brandy is like, listen, I support you regardless, and her friend Dominique is checking on her. So she's like, I just don't feel like me and Ray are on the same page anymore, so I just gotta take the necessary precautions moving forward, which is understandable. So now we get to Tierra, Andrew, and Nikki, and they're hoping that Tierra is okay. They both witnessed, Tierra going crazy when she's drunk right now. Nikki's afraid that Tierra's going to end up like her brother. So Tierra meets up with them, and she tells them she went to court. and she was a little bit late, but when she got there, she had a bench warrant on her to turn herself in. So the next day she has to go straight in, turn herself in, possibly get locked up. So she's preparing for the worst, and she has bail money in case they lock her up. So she's like, you know what, this is a lesson learned, to just, this is a wake-up call. I need to get myself together, and I need to, get help. I need to do something, because this ain't for me. So now we get to Max and Brandy, and they want to be, Max wants them to be the bigger people and kill the whole sex tape drama. Brandy is like, she just wanted to use the sex tape to teach Moniece a lesson, and I think Max said to her, well, you think Beyonce is out here exploiting people with sex tapes and stuff? Nah, Beyonce would be out getting money, doing shows or whatever. Brandy was like, you know what? My girl B, what would Beyonce do? WWBD. She would be out making money, which is what I need to do. So, I'm much bigger than that. And I'm like, okay, Brandy, I'm glad you learned your lesson, but you are forever name dropping. Forever name dropping. Because you name dropped Whitney Houston as your godmother. Now you name dropping Beyonce as your best friend, which we found out was true, but, bruh. You want a cookie? So they're discussing the whole prenup talk or whatever, and Max feels like, Brandy feels conflicted. Max feels like she shouldn't even be in the middle. She's not there to protect Princess. She's just there to be a friend. Because if she opens her mouth to Ray and tells that Princess wants to get the prenup, Princess is going to feel away. Like, she's damned if she do, damned if she doesn't. So she shouldn't even say anything. She should keep it to herself and just be supportive, which I think is good advice too. Let Ray find out how he found out, So now we get to Nikki and Andrew. And we found out that Tierra was locked up, but she's getting bail. So Tierra says she was in jail for 6 hours after court because the judge really wasn't paying attention to, didn't really care about what she was saying. So she's out of jail finally. Andrew was in court with her all day. And she's like, she was locked up with murderers and, prostitutes, all kinds of craziness. She doesn't want to go through that again. She's not messing with jail. Jail is not for her. And, it is what it is. She learned her lesson. She just wants to move forward and get past this. So now we get to Moniece and Masika. Apparently, Jason is still talking about her. She tells Masika about the whole sex tape thing. And, she's like, well, when Jason Lee said that the guy's a rapper, a light bulb went off in my head. I know the guy who may have the tape. She said she dated this guy named Philip for 2 years on and off. And, she saw that on his Instagram page he's going to be in LA. So she's going to speak to him. So they go from that to, the whole beef with Hazel and Masika. And, Masika calls Hazel E nasal he. And she's like, well, I listened to the song that allegedly had Fetty on it. And she's like, well, I called to see if, it really was Fetty. I called him to say, yo, there's a song out with Hazel E. and supposedly you're featured on it. And she's like, do you know about that? He's like, no, I don't know nothing about that. Send it to me. So she sends it to him. He was like, nah, what is all of it? Nah, I'm going to have the label pull that song down or whatever. And, that ain't me, da-da-da-da. So basically saying Hazel lied about having Fetty on the song with her. And she's like, why of all people would you say that you have the father of my child on your song? Are you doing this just to, have what I want, my body, my face, my this, my that? And I'm like, Masika, I don't really think Hazel cares about any of that. Hazel is just trying to make money. It is what it is. So now we get to Princess, and she's going to the lawyers to get her own legal protection. She doesn't want it to get ugly. She just wants to protect her own brand and her logo. And, she feels like she can't trust Ray J when things go bad. So, one of her stipulations in her prenup means that if Ray J was to ever have a child out of wedlock, the prenup and everything will have to go, and she gets half of everything. So she's like, I don't think he'll step out on me, but this is just to protect me. So I'm like, this is about to get messy. So now we get to Lyrica G, Lyrica, and Pam. So Lyrica G is like, I didn't mean to start any trouble between my kid, A1 and Lyrica. I just want respect from A1. And you know, Lyrica just wants her mother to move past the beef. So as soon as Lyrica G sees Pam pull up in her car, she goes ballistic, goes to the car, get the F out my car, Pam, da da da. So she starts like trying to like charge at Pam or whatever, and Lyrica's like, listen, I brought her here with me to, you know, make peace. And she's like, well, what is she doing in my car? And she's like, she drove here for me. She drove here to talk to you, to bury the hatchet. And, you know, Lyrica's like, listen, this is a process. All of this is a process. You know, I just struggle with accepting you and A1 as my family. And, you know, I'm admitting that I can't be fake about that. And Pam is like, can you hug a person? So they give each other a hug, and I'm like, thank God, because this is annoying. And I'm proud of Lyrica, because Lyrica helped set it up and knock some sense into these two ladies. And then they was about to start arguing again, so Lyrica's like, I think y'all should hug again. I'm like, y'all, they are just sad. This is one messy family. So now we get to Moniece and Philip. His rap name is SL. And, you know, she feels like if they're supposed to be friends, then why would he violate her how he's violating her? So he explains to her how the whole tape thing got out. He said he lost his phone, and somehow Jason Lee finds the phone or whatever with the tape on it or whatever. Now, this story sounds very similar to the story Nico and Mimi tried to put out there for us to believe about how they came back from their trip to the Bahamas and they lost a bag, and the bag had the sex tape in it, and, you know, the company found the tape and wanted to, you know, profit off of it or whatever. And I'm like, people must think we stupid, especially these reality TV people. They must really think we stupid as it pertains to how these sex tapes get up. You ain't lose no damn phone, you ain't lose no bag, you gave it away, okay? And then for you to say that Jason Lee found it, out of all the people in Los Angeles, Jason Lee found your phone? Really? 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 Okay. So Moniece ain't buying it. Moniece is like, listen, I want the copies of whatever you had. He said it's only one copy because it's only one phone. He's like, I would never expose you. And she's like, how could I trust you? You're supposed to be my friend and you're betraying me. I want every copy and I want you to give it to my attorney. And he's like, for what? She's like, because if you try to leak the tape, I will sue you. So he gets in her face and she slaps the taste out of his mouth. I'm like, oh my goodness. So it basically ended there, and he's laughing, people laughing at him in the venue. I'm like, this is just a hot mess. Now we get to Masika and Hazel. Hazel is doing the hosting. So Masika is there, she sends Hazel a drink. Hazel is like, nah, I ain't drinking that poison. So Hazel goes to approach Masika in her section. Masika is like, let me check this chick one time. So she calls Hazel Nasal He, a collagen creation. I'm like, oh my God. I'm not gonna lie. Masika is the clapback queen. Masika is quick. Masika is the K. Michelle of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. So Masika basically approaches Hazel and is like, I want an apology for you talking about my daughter. She's like, first of all, your daughter is beautiful. I wasn't talking about your daughter. I was talking about you and Fetty. You know, you got baby daddy money. You should be good. You know, I expected you to look better than this. I'm very, you know, I'm poor right now. And she's like, well, listen, I expected for you to look better too. You know, you done been plumped, you know, sucked and plucked and everything. So Hazel throws her drink. They about to fight. You know, security breaks them up, and, you know, Hazel was like, you don't want none of this, and then it ends there. I'm like, these two are a hot mess. I will say this, like I said, I miss Hazel. Hazel looks good, but you can tell she had something done to her cheek. She had her boobs augmented, but I mean, she looks good. She don't look bad. She look good, but them two, they need to squash the beef that they have, because the person that they had the beef about ain't with neither one of them. And it's like, now the beef, it's just, at this point, it's old. Just let it go. Oh my gosh. But that's where the episode ended. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about it. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.